Under the bright fluorescent lights of the supermarket, shoppers moved through their routines, unaware of anything else. But for one young woman, the most difficult 10 minutes of her life were about to unfold. Her hands shook as she quietly tucked a can of baby formula inside her jacket. She believed no one noticed, but two people did. One was Mike Turner, the store's security guard, and the other was world-renowned rock musician Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy liked taking breaks from his public life to spend time among everyday people. What happened next would impact that young mother in ways she never expected. Sometimes the only thing separating a breakdown from a breakthrough is someone who chooses not to ignore what they see. Los Angeles, Eagle Rock neighborhood. March 14, 2019, 2:30 p.m. Wholesome Market. This medium-sized supermarket was a common stop for locals, appreciated for its organic options and fair prices. The weather that day was unusually cold for March. When 24-year-old Sarah Mitchell walked through the doors, she was shivering, and not just from the temperature. In her arms rested her 7-month-old daughter, Lily. Only a year earlier, Sarah's life had been stable. But everything changed when her fiancé, Brandon, was killed in a car accident 3 months before Lily was born. With no insurance and outstanding debts, he left Sarah with nothing more than memories and a baby on the way. After the birth, her problems grew quickly: medical bills, rent, utilities. She worked as a waitress, but her income barely kept a roof over their heads. Her parents lived in another state, both retired, and their own financial situation wasn't great either. Sarah moved slowly through the store toward the baby formula section. Lily's last can had finished that morning. The baby was hungry and had begun to cry, but Sarah had only $7.30 in her wallet. One can of formula cost $18. As Sarah looked at the can, everything around her felt heavy. At that same moment, on the opposite side of the store, Ozzy Osbourne was standing in the coffee aisle. He was 70 years old, yet still carried his well-known energy. Black t-shirt, worn jeans, large sunglasses. No security staff. Sharon was at home. Ozzy often did this, his driver waiting outside while he shopped like anyone else. Bloody hell, Sharon, he muttered quietly. Why are there so many coffee options? He held 2 brands, unsure which one to pick. When Ozzy lifted his head, he noticed a young woman 3 aisles away. She was in the baby formula section, holding a can and staring at it first. Ozzy assumed it was simply a typical moment between a mother and her child, but something made him look again. The woman's body language. Her hands shaking. The anxious way she kept glancing around. Then he saw her slip the can into her jacket. Ozzy felt a tightness in his chest. She didn't look like a thief. She looked like someone in real need. Security guard Mike Turner noticed the same thing. He was 35, a former police officer who had resigned after accusations of excessive force. Now he worked at the supermarket and approached his role with strict seriousness, maybe too much at times. Mike reached for his radio to alert the manager. "Base, this is Mike. Shoplifting at the baby formula aisle. Young woman, white, mid-20s, baby in her arms." Moving in to intervene. When Sarah hid the formula inside her jacket, her stomach twisted. She had never stolen anything before. She remembered her mother telling her, "Honesty matters more than anything." But right now, honesty wasn't feeding her child. She walked toward the exit. Every step felt heavier. She passed the registers with her head down, her heartbeat racing. 20 feet from the door. 15. 10. "Excuse me, ma'am." Mike's firm voice carried across the store. Sarah froze. Everything around her seemed to stop. Mike approached with his hand resting on the belt where his handcuffs hung. "Please come with me. I need to ask you a few questions." People throughout the store, around 20 to 30 shoppers, looked up, all eyes focused on Sarah. The baby sensed her mother's stress and began to cry. Sarah's eyes filled with tears, but no words came out. She simply held her child close. "Look, mate. I think there's been a misunderstanding." Ozzy's voice came through. Carrying his familiar Birmingham accent, the veteran rocker stepped between Sarah and Mike. He removed his sunglasses, his blue eyes fixed on the guard. "What's happening here?" Mike frowned. "Sir, this doesn't involve you. Please step back." But Ozzy didn't move. "I know this woman," he said firmly but calmly. "She's my—" He paused briefly. "Cousin. I was supposed to meet her here to help her shop. I got here late, so whatever she picked up is on me." Sarah stared at Ozzy, stunned. Who was this man, and why was he defending her? Mike looked doubtful. Your cousin? Can I see some ID? Ozzy pulled out his wallet, but as he did, he glanced at Sarah. The message was clear. Trust me. Sarah saw something in that look. Compassion, maybe understanding, but enough to give her a small sense of relief. Mike examined the ID, and his expression shifted. Are you Ozzy Osbourne? People around them began whispering. Phones came out. Yeah, that's me, Ozzy said casually. Now let's see what she grabbed, and I'll pay for it. No issue, right? Mike hesitated. It was Ozzy Osbourne in front of him. Was he genuinely helping a relative, or trying to cover something up? Then he noticed the baby. Lily was crying hard, her face red. Mike had a 3-year-old daughter himself. He recognized that cry. Hunger, distress. All right, he finally said, his tone softening. But the payment must be made at the register. Ozzy smiled. Of course, mate. That's fine. He walked toward the register, lightly guiding Sarah with him. People continued watching, though now with curiosity rather than judgment. Sarah was too emotional to speak. At the counter, she pulled the formula from her jacket and handed it to the cashier. This one, love, Ozzy said. Then he paused, turned back toward the aisles. Actually, give me a minute. 5 minutes later, Ozzy returned, his cart completely full. Baby formula, diapers, baby food, canned items, milk, bread, cheese, fruits, vegetables, about $340 worth of groceries. As Ozzy handed his credit card to the cashier, he turned to Sarah. You have a car, love? Sarah shook her head. I came by bus. Right? That won't work with all this. Come on, my driver's outside. Outside, a polished black Mercedes waited. Ozzy's driver, Trevor, a calm man in his 50s, had worked with him long enough that very little surprised him anymore. Ozzy gestured toward him. Trevor, we're taking this young lady home, along with all these groceries. Inside the car, Sarah finally found her voice. Though shaky, the words came quickly. Why? Why are you helping me? You don't even know me. I was stealing. Ozzy turned toward her. His eyes showed sadness, but also kindness. Because, love, he said slowly. I know what it feels like to be desperate. I know what it's like when life hits you so hard you can't see a way out. Sarah broke down again. Lily slept peacefully in her lap now, no longer crying. My husband died, Sarah said, her voice unsteady. 3 months before Lily was born. A car accident. No insurance. He had debts. I'm just trying to survive, but it's never enough. Ozzy nodded, understanding. In the 1980s, he said, his tone more serious, I was at my lowest. Sharon was close to leaving. My kids were scared of me. I woke up in a hotel one day with no idea how I even got there. I thought, this is it. This is how I go. But someone gave me a chance. Sharon forgave me. She gave me a reason to believe in myself. And 40 years later, I'm still here. He paused, looking directly at her. So when I see someone struggling, someone who just needs one person to reach out, I make sure I do. The car stopped in front of a small apartment building in Eagle Rock. The building was old, paint fading, but it was home. Ozzy and Trevor helped carry the groceries inside. Sarah's studio apartment combined a kitchen, living room, and bedroom in one space. It was modest but tidy, decorated with care. On the wall hung a photo of Brandon, young, smiling, full of life. Ozzy looked at it and felt a quiet ache. Your husband? He asked. Sarah nodded. Brandon. Lily never got to meet him. He was only 27. Ozzy stayed silent for a moment, then took a business card from his pocket. Look, Sarah, he said, using her name for the first time. This is my manager's number. I've already told him about you. Call him tomorrow. Sharon and I have a foundation. We help families going through difficult times, quietly. No media, no attention, just support. Sarah's hands shook as she took the card. I can't accept this. You've already done so much. You're not accepting charity, love. Ozzy replied gently but firmly. You're accepting help. There's a difference. Charity is when someone gives because they feel sorry for you. Help is when someone gives because they've been where you are. Trevor stayed quietly at the door, having seen Ozzy in moments like this many times before. No matter how the media portrayed his boss, Trevor knew the truth. A kind, generous man with a broken yet beautiful soul. Before leaving, Ozzy did one more thing. He pulled $500 from his wallet and pressed it into Sarah's hand. For rent, he said, and electricity, and whatever else you need. No questions, no accounting. Sarah's knees buckled, and she had to sit down. I don't know how to thank you. You saved me. Ozzy shook his head. You don't thank me, Sarah. You survive. You raised that beautiful little girl. Show her that even when the world feels dark, there's still light. That's how you thank me. As Ozzy and Trevor drove away, Sarah watched from the window. Was it real? A dream? But no, the grocery bags on the table were real. The money in her hand was real. And her baby's full belly was real. That night, Sarah slept peacefully for the first time in a long while. But the story didn't end there. In fact, it was just beginning. The next day, Sarah called the number she had been given. Ozzy's manager, Jim Beach, answered with a kind, professional tone. Sarah, yes, Ozzy told me about you. I'd like to meet. Our foundation can help. A week later, Sarah visited the Osbourne Family Foundation office. It was small but welcoming, with walls covered in family photos and thank you letters. Jim explained the plan. We'll cover 3 months of rent for you. We'll also connect you with a local food bank so you can receive monthly basic food packages. If you'd like, we can provide career counseling and accounting classes to help you find a better job. This time, Sarah cried tears of joy. But Jim wasn't finished. And one more thing, he said, smiling. Ozzy started an education fund for Lily, $25,000. You can't access it now, but when she turns 18, it will be there for college. Sarah couldn't speak. She simply sat there, overwhelmed with gratitude, pride, and relief that a single act of kindness, one moment of compassion, had completely changed her future. 6 months later, Sarah had rebuilt her life. She had a new job as an administrative assistant at a local hospital. Her salary covered all her expenses. Lily was healthy, happy, and thriving. And Sarah never forgot that day at the supermarket. The terrible, shameful, yet beautiful day. She never saw Ozzy again, but she prayed for him every day. As she tucked Lily into bed, she whispered, "There are good people in this world, baby. Someone gave your mama a chance, and one day, when you grow up, you'll give someone else a chance too." A year later, Sarah took action. She started a small neighborhood help program. Each week, she brought groceries to families in need. It wasn't much, maybe 4 or 5 families at a time, but for them, it meant everything. When people asked why she did it, Sarah would smile. "Someone helped me once," she'd say, "and I learned that kindness isn't something you keep. It's something you pass on." One Saturday morning, after shopping, Sarah received a message on her phone. She didn't recognize the number, but the message was clear. "Dinner tonight, 6 p.m. Our place. Bring Lily." Sharon, Sarah read it 3 times, heart racing. She'd been invited to Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne's home. Was it real? That evening, her hands shook as she got ready. She chose a simple, elegant navy dress and dressed Lily in a white dress, tying her hair with a ribbon. At the Beverly Hills address, Sarah held her breath. The door opened. Sharon greeted them with a warm smile. "Sarah," she said, hugging her. "And this must be little Lily." Inside, the home felt surprisingly normal. Family photos adorned the walls, grandchildren's toys were scattered around, and the scent of freshly baked cookies filled the air. Ozzy was in a large armchair, reading a book. He looked up. There she is, the warrior woman herself. Sarah laughed softly. "I'm not a warrior, just a mother trying to survive." Ozzy placed a hand on her shoulder. "Love, that's exactly what a warrior is." During dinner, Sarah shared everything. Her new job, Lily's daycare, and how her life had changed. Sharon's eyes glistened. "You know what I love about your story? It's not that someone helped you. It's that you helped yourself. We just gave you a push. You did the climbing." Ozzy added, "Bloody right. You took that second chance with both hands." After dinner, Ozzy took Sarah to the music room and opened a drawer filled with hundreds of letters and cards. "These are from people we've helped over the years," he said quietly. "I keep every single one. Sharon thinks I'm a sentimental old fool." His eyes misted. "But these are worth more than any Grammy." Sarah's tears fell. "I want to do something," she said. "Not in return, but something." Ozzy looked curious. Sarah took a deep breath. "I've been helping families in the neighborhood. Not much, but it's real. I want to do this in your name, quietly. No media, just spreading kindness." Ozzy hugged her. "That is the best bloody gift anyone's ever given me," he said, his voice choked. "Not gold records, not sold-out arenas. This." At the end of the night, Lily had fallen asleep in Sarah's arms. As the car drove away, Sharon turned to her husband. "You're a good man, Ozzy Osbourne," she said. Ozzy smiled. "I'm trying, Shah. After all the mistakes, I'm just trying to get it right." Sharon kissed him. "You already have, love. You already have." 2 years later, Sarah's small help program had reached 38 families. It wasn't in the media, but it was real. Lily was 4 years old now. Last week at school, she drew a picture, a baby, a woman, and a long-haired man with glasses. Sometimes salvation doesn't come as a miracle. Sometimes it comes in a supermarket on an ordinary Tuesday when a stranger says, "Not on my watch." Sometimes heroes don't wear capes, they wear leather jackets. And sometimes the most powerful act is reaching out to stop someone from falling, because we all fall from time to time. But the real miracle is someone caring enough to lift us up, and that kindness spreads in waves, touching every life it reaches.